but he forgot. Anyway, so greetings to you all. Now, Latrae dragged me out here this afternoon, and there's a reason I really want to speak, a serious point as to why I'm here. We've known each other for a long time. So Nicholas Simonet, who is our ambassador at large, tells me that I'm always talking about death and passing things on. And I noticed Danny just passed something on to you as well. But the more serious point is that Andy Young, who's former mayor of Atlanta, told me that the night that Martin Luther King made that speech about promised land, been to the mountaintop, that all his friends and supporters didn't think anything of it. Everybody says after the fact that it was a prescient speech and this was his last salute, because Martin Luther always talked about death. And so the speech wasn't anything unusual. It just happened, of course, that the result of that. But since this term, one of the things I said to Corey Burroughs, who is, I think is a member of this branch as well, yes, is that he was anxious about who's going to take over and are the young people ever going to get a chance and an opportunity. And I said to him, look at the profile of the people in the NGC. Most of us are over 60. So that means within 5 years, 50% of us won't be here. That's just a demographic fact. So even if he does nothing, he's got to pass on to the next generation. So this young man here, who's going to speak in a couple of minutes, is like one of the front runners as successors to the leadership of this organization. And you look at who's gone now. George Smith isn't here, Obie Wilshcombe isn't here, Franklin Ferguson passed away, Doris Burroughs isn't here, Iris Hudson isn't here, Effie Walks isn't here, Al Dillette isn't here, Shelley Sweeting's husband, he's not here. So we're all sort of, so we have no choice as an organization. You know, they told us in 2007, after they did the analysis after the election, that we had only won a certain demographic. And they said if we did not improve this, this was a party headed toward the graveyard. So we have no choice but to make sure that the next generation knows what we know, and then they know quickly, and they get imbued with those values, and they're in safe hands. So I just happened to meet Ahmad Burns in New York last week. He's one of the 5 brave men. And I remember when they were announced, what a ripple effect that had through the political community at the time. And what I promised myself as chairman was that as soon as I got the opportunity, if we won government, that each of them would find a place if they wanted it in the government. And they each have that place. And it's my view that unless people get a hand up, unless they are protected throughout their political careers, unless they get that start, we're not actually going to have an equipped generation to go on. And he knows from I met him, and he talked about his ambitions, that that's the path that I'm on. And I don't have to agree with what he says or not. That doesn't so much matter. What is important is that the answers must be put on the battlefield, because nature abhors a vacuum. And I'm concerned that people in his generation are not speaking up as they should for the Progressive Liberal Party. We're too deliberative. It takes too long for people to come up with an answer. And in this dispensation, the answer and what you say is not so much as important as an answer. Just give an answer. Look at this thing. Danny was just talking about the sports and the investment in sports. I mean, you have a fellow who specializes, we know he does this, who specializes in gotcha moments, who lands on the front page. No one bothers to hear the other side. They just land on the front page with this stuff and go running down the road with this information, and you don't check with the other side. And the PLP should have a reflex on this stuff without anyone having to say or do anything about it, that it ain't so. Even if you have to come later on and say, well, yeah, I found out it is so. But your first response should be, it ain't so, right? It's a lie, not true, you know? So that's why I'm here, to hear what he has to say in that connection, you know? And I say this also broadly to the people in Foxville. I'm not going to anoint anyone. It ain't my job to anoint anyone to become this or that. My job is to provide the opportunity, to provide the exposure. You have to do the rest. And I hope that people understand that, and the more the merrier. More contending ideas, go out and recruit, and people have to speak. And as I said, it's only a matter of time before we disappear and, you know, we're not here. Every day you get a phone call, someone's gone, and, you know, I mean, look at Don. I mean, young guy just goes out one night and he's gone. So do what you can, and I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. So God bless you.